This is our follow-up video to the unboxing that we did the other day of the OJO Nintendo Switch Portable Projector. So I'm kind of just going to be giving you my first impressions, kind of a review of sort of my first few days with it and see like how I've got on with it and how good I actually think it is. So I'm not like a major tech head. I mean, I am in a sense of that I own a lot of technology and I love the latest new things, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, everything has to be completely pixel perfect 4K resolution or else I won't touch it. I'm not like that. So that kind of gives you a bit of a background to how I'm approaching this. This is more something that I was really excited about because it fits my lifestyle really well, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute just to explain about why that actually works for me. But first off, let's just talk about the actual construction about it. So the idea of this is that this is its own self-contained thing. You can slot a Nintendo Switch into it, and you can project it anywhere without having to plug anything in. So this does have, I can't remember the exact battery. Oh, it has a 20,400 milliamp hour battery. So you're going to get about 4 hours of playtime out of this. And it also has enough capacity to charge your Switch 4 times if you put it in battery mode. So battery mode is basically you can flick the Switch over to the right, and that will only charge your Nintendo Switch, or I think your peripherals in the back if you want to charge your phone and things like that. But you'll get 4 hours if you are playing the Switch with the projector running. So again, for me, that was perfectly fine. My sort of setup of where I think I'll use it the most was fine as well, because I could plug it in to a power supply anyway, which means you'll get unlimited. Now, one thing that I have noticed, which I don't think is a concern, but it's something to think about. So obviously, if you've been using battery banks and things like that with your Nintendo Switch, you'll have noticed that a lot of the time, a lot of battery banks actually can't charge up the Switch while the power is actually dropping. So it'll probably keep the battery level about the same, or the battery level will drop but slower, because the power supply just isn't strong enough. With this, I'm actually really surprised that it doesn't actually charge it up while it's playing. So it actually went down slightly. So I'm pretty convinced. I mean, it might have not been exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was 100% charged, my Switch. I played on this for about 3 hours, I think it was, and my Switch actually went down to 89%. So I mean, it's obviously not a massive concern. I mean, by that logic, I mean, you'd literally have to go down, I don't know what, about 80 hours or something before it would get to 0. So I think you're going to be absolutely fine with that. My maths, I didn't do any maths then, I just made it up, but it's going to be about that. So in terms of the battery, I think it's fine. I don't really know why you would use this as a battery bank really on its own if you're out and about, but I guess it's there if you need it, but it can charge it up 4 times if it's just on battery mode, so that's pretty cool. The actual construction of it is really good. It feels really sturdy. It's got a nice weight to it. And yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to break easy unless you launch it across a room. The bit that some of you might be concerned about is the actual dock bit. So this bit that's sticking out on the front. On normal Switch docks, it's quite flimsy and it feels like it's going to bend a lot. This is better, but not by much. It still obviously wiggles a bit if I move it back and forth like that. But it does have a little bit of padding on the inside, just a little bit. So that's not going to scratch your screen as bad as a normal Switch dock would usually. So yeah, it feels really premium. It feels great, and I've got to say I'm shocked at how good it actually is. Although I have noticed I have ended up with scratches, and you're not going to be able to see it on the camera at all because they're really light, but I've actually ended up with scratches all along the top of the buttons and on the front of where the actual logo is, which is weird because I've literally only had it in the case, so I don't know if that's the case problem or if it just scratches really easy, but that's just something to bear in mind. The back, so it has 2 USB ports. One of them is an actual charging port. I didn't actually notice that. One of them actually charges, like if you've got your phone or your iPad, things like that, or non-iOS devices. You can actually charge a device through this, and then you've got a normal USB port for things like headsets and if you want to plug in your phone and things like that as well. You got a HDMI port. So I have actually tested this and it does work I tried it with a PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. I put my iPad through it and a bunch of other different stuff. So this can pretty much as long as it's got a HDMI port, you can pretty much put anything through this projector, which is really cool anyway, because I have a nice portable projector that I can put those things through. So that's that. The actual speaker, so you're going to hear this now in a second, but it actually goes really loud, and I'm actually surprised at the quality of it. So I'll just give it a second for you to listen to the volume. Okay, and then it charges through USB-C, which is what it is. So your normal Nintendo Switch dock charger will work with this as well. And then you've got lots of fans. So the other thing is the fan noise is quite loud. So again, I'll let you listen to that just now, see how loud it is. Yeah, so it can be quite loud, but I mean, if you've got things like the TV on in the background and that, it'll distract you a little bit, but it is pretty loud. But I mean, for how small it is and for what it's doing, it's not really a shock. So before I forget, there's actually a kickstand on the bottom as well. So you can flick that up. I discovered this later on after I sort of got it set up. But it doesn't actually lift it that much, but it's nice that there's something on it. But I actually found what was helpful is on the back. So obviously you need to keep the ventilation open or else it'll overheat. But it's actually got these grooves in the middle. And I actually found that propping it up on something there actually meant I could get a lot of height without actually covering up the fans, which was really good as well. So that's kind of the overview of the actual thing. But then I guess the thing that you're all here for probably is how good is the actual quality. So I'm going to have a bit of footage going up while I'm talking now, and you can see. So first off here, you can see we've got some footage of it running in the background. So this is kind of my ideal setup, and this is why I think for me it works great. So me and my wife, we generally like to, you know, be downstairs. My obvious little office and gaming area and everything is upstairs set up. But if we're downstairs, which is the majority of the time, I kind of have to play portably a lot of the time. Like I play on my laptop, or I'll have to play on my in handheld mode, so that we can have the TV on, or we can, you know, she can go on a laptop and stuff as well. But this is perfect because it means I can just set it up. Let's say there was a big game like Zelda had just come out and I really wanted to have that full experience. I can just set this up anywhere and I can basically be playing with a full screen. And it's just absolutely spot on for that, and it's great. So here's kind of me just chilling and having my legs up while it's going, and it was just, honestly, it was a magical experience. I just couldn't believe how well it worked. So yeah, when it's completely dark, you're going to get a beautiful picture. So this is sub 720p, which concerned a lot of people, and I can tell you now, like if you're about 2 meters away from the screen, like it doesn't matter. This looks absolutely beautiful. I actually found that games like Rocket League actually look slightly better than it did in a crisp 4K TV, which was weird. But that's just honestly what I was witnessing. I don't know if it's just because it looks a bit, I don't know. Somehow it just made it look better. But so like in the dark, it's going to look great. Now, if we switch over to like this is with one lamp on at the side. Not bad at all. Again, like it actually did a really good job of keeping it crisp and looking good. So it did, obviously the quality goes down slightly, but it still looks absolutely amazing. And I can't, like, if you see this for yourself, it just looks incredible. So now if we switch over to it with all the lights on, you'll see that obviously the picture's dim, like you're not going to see it as much, of course, but the quality surprisingly was still there. So this was my biggest concern. Obviously, having all the lights on in the house, how would that affect it? And actually, it's not that bad at all. Now with daylight, I did actually, when I was testing the PS4 and the Xbox One running through the Switch, I did notice it was more difficult in actual daylight, as in sunlight coming through the window. But again, that's just projectors, to be honest, so you're not going to get away from that. So if we now want to switch over, so you can, obviously this can go from something like a 15-inch screen to a 150-inch screen. Obviously, as you would imagine, the 150-inch screen isn't really practical, and it's obviously very blurry. But I think I found the optimum was around between 28 inches to around 42, something like that. So between 30 and 40 really, and it absolutely looks great at that. But it is doable further along, but obviously you're just not going to be able to see it as well. Also, I actually had a bit of fun just kind of going around the place, and you'll see some shots now. I tried it in the garden, tried it outside. It worked absolutely perfect. Obviously, on like brick walls and stuff, that's going to obviously impact on the quality, but it actually looked really good, and I was surprised. I even thought, how cool does this look? Even on the back of a chair, I was like, wow, like I want this chair. Why doesn't this exist? I want this right now. But yeah, things like that look really cool, and I was kind of mesmerized at how good some of these things look. Tried it on a kitchen floor. You could literally try it anywhere, but a really good actual position was actually, I even tried it in bed, shining it on the ceiling, and yeah, I was essentially gaming in bed, looking at the ceiling, which was just, again, like a really cool experience. I mean, I wouldn't do it all the time, but the point is that it's doable. So the last thing to talk about really is how the actual buttons work. So there's 4 buttons on the top of the projector. There's a plus and a minus, which control the volume, and then there's an up and a down, which controls the focus. So I kind of love it and I kind of hate this. So the up and the down for the focus, I found that if you hold it, it focuses quite well, but then I kept kind of skipping over the actual perfect focus. So like holding it down, actually just pressing the button like one after each other like this, and it didn't do it in stages. You have to hold down the button, and then it kind of like swooshes in and out of focus. So you can press down to go backwards, up to go forwards, obviously. And it actually sometimes is quite difficult to get that optimum focus, but other than that, it was relatively easy and quite intuitive. So yeah, coming back to the OJO in general, I'm actually just amazed at how good this thing is. It shocked me. I did not think it's going to be anywhere near as good as... I was put off by a lot of people who was like, oh, the brightness, because it's supposed to be 200 lumens, but it's not quite. It doesn't quite work like that. As in, it's in comparison to actually projectors that say they're like 20,000 lumens or something. Like, this is actually more like that. It's just they're being more like honest about what it is, but it is. I tell you now, like, for the settings you're probably going to use it, it's light enough easily, and it's absolutely brilliant. The resolution, again, not really an issue. The only issue with the resolution, which you'll see now, is writing. Writing is the only thing that kind of suffers significantly with this. So yeah, at distance or close up, like, it can get, like, writing can actually be a struggle to read, especially if it's really small. So that's something to think about if you're playing like big adventure games or something that has a lot of writing, or if you were playing something like Oxenfree, which has really small writing, you might struggle to play that. But other than that, I think this is more intended for groups anyway, or like for me in my own personal setting, like I do. But yeah, overall, I absolutely love this thing, and to me, it opens up even more diversity of how you can play with your Switch. And I'm just so excited to use it in more places, and the fact that I can just rock up anywhere, put this up, and just play some games with my mates is just like, it's just absolutely incredible, and you just can't get this with any other system. So I am absolutely amazed. Obviously, I think things that they could probably improve on is resolution and things like that. The only thing that another concern that I kind of had was actually with Mario Kart, the gameplay actually was stuttering. I don't know if you could see it on the footage, but it was actually like stopping every sort of 10 seconds. I don't know if that's due to this or if it is due to the game, but I mean, I've never experienced that before until I put it in this. But no other game experienced that, so I'm not sure what was going on there. But yeah, the speaker is like weirdly very loud. I think it's got a lot of good I/O and things like that. So I mean, to me, this is absolutely incredible. And if you kind of needed that second screen for some reason, like, this totally fits that bill. And for what it is, I actually think the price is pretty good. The price has gone up now because it's been past the early access stage. But I just think it's absolutely incredible. So I mean, if I was going to give it a score, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 because I think they've to me, they nailed it first time really. But I just think they can improve on the resolution front a little bit. They could probably put the brightness up a bit, which obviously would be helpful. And bring the price down a little bit. So it's between an 8 and a 9, I think. So let's say 8.5, I think, overall. But it is really good. Now to talk finally just about this case. So this case, if you are going to buy one of these, absolutely buy this case. It is really good. It's really rugged. I know I've said there's been a few scratches, but I don't think that's from this. I don't see how it could be. But this is like, it's so rugged and so good for the price that it is. My only thing that I would like, I'm like, if you're listening to this, OJO, please make a smaller one. So yeah, you can fit everything in it, which is great. But to me, I don't need to be able to put this in. I don't really need to be able to put the power lead in. I would love one that just fit around the actual switch dock. So if I put this in here, you'll see that like there's just so much space around here that I just feel is like a little bit unnecessary. Like I said, I have a case for my Switch, so I don't need to put my Switch in there. I don't need to put my Joy-Con grip there. You know what I mean? I'd love one that was just about as small as the actual projector, made out of the same material, and then that way I could just throw it in my bag rather than having to carry around essentially what is about the size of a projector case, you know what I mean? So to me, it kind of, I wouldn't say it ruins what it is, it doesn't at all, but I mean, like, it just kind of makes it a little bit more, there's just another massive thing to carry around where I could just have this little thing and throw it in my bag and it'd be sorted. But that is my only complaint with the case, but the case is actually, the quality of it, I couldn't fault it. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10, easy. So if you buy an OJO, 110% get the case. It is totally worth it, and obviously it's built for it. So that is my sort of review of the OJO. I hope it's been informative. For you people who are waiting on your OJOs, like loads of people are getting them now. They're finally coming through, so you will get yours reasonably soon. I am hopeful for you. And I can just say you're not going to be disappointed. It is absolutely amazing. If you haven't got one, well, now's your opportunity. So you can go to the Indiegogo website. I've put it in the description. Again, as I said in the unboxing video, this isn't sponsored at all. We're not big enough to be sponsored in any shape or form. But yeah, this is my own one, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this this is the first ever sort of product review we've done, so let us know if you've enjoyed it, and we'll try and do more if you do. But in the meantime, we've got reviews up on our website of the latest games that have come out. We've got our Monster Hunter one, which was our latest one. We've got our late night gaming show coming out. Episode 9 is coming out on Thursday night, probably Friday morning. So check that out. And then we've also got some first gameplay of Final Fantasy 15. Pocket edition, things like that. So we've got loads of cool content up for you guys, so check it out. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like the video if you liked it. You can downvote it if you absolutely hate it. That's absolutely fine by me. And also leave a comment and tell us what you think of the OJO. Would you buy one? Do you think it's worth it? And let us know if you've enjoyed this product review video. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you very soon. Bye.